pure culture techniques are the first and the most crucial aspect of microbiological studies. So, a culture is the procedure of cultivating microorganisms, as well as the term is also used for the microbes that are being cultivated under laboratory conditions. A mixed culture consists of microorganisms from a particular natural source where several populations of different microbes coexist together. So, a mixed culture will be a collection of microbes belonging to more than one species. So, it can be coming from soil, from water, from any other place where natural conditions decide which microbes can exist under those circumstances. A pure culture is one where only one particular species is growing. Now, this condition is mainly found under laboratory conditions where we provide such nutrients or such physical conditions that one particular species grows and it is prevented from coming in contact with air so that it is not contaminated by agents of other species. But equally, pure cultures can also be found in natural samples which provide situations for overpowering populations of one particular species growing at a place. So, this pure culture is generally derived from a mixed culture where a particular desired organism is picked up and then grown under in vitro conditions. We need pure cultures to properly identify them so that their characteristics can be studied. Now, this becomes very important when we are looking for medical applications such as testing and diagnosis, or in discovering their antibiotic properties or their susceptibility towards a particular treatment. Additionally, it is also needed to ensure that every time a particular experiment is performed or a particular treatment is given, the pure culture, the organism that we have found out, it behaves similarly so that we get the same results. Also, if we need a particular bioproduct from a microbe, then we need to maintain it in pure culture so that every time under the same conditions we are able to obtain the bioproduct in desired amounts. Also, the rate of spontaneous mutation in pure cultures is the procedure for obtaining these pure cultures depends mainly on three important aspects. The first is sterilization, which means making the growth media and the glassware free of any contaminants. Second is introduction of desired cells into sterile growth media. So, preparation of this media and choice of the correct media becomes important. And the last part is isolation of single cells so that there are no mixed colonies coming in our pure culture. For purpose of sterilization, we use these various methods. First is the use of autoclave, which is done for contamination free glasswares, plasticwares as well as media, where heat at a temperature of 121 degrees Celsius and pressure at 15 pounds per square inch is used. So it basically employs wet heat as the source of sterilization. There are some fluids which are heat sensitive, some antibiotic solutions or maybe some media which cannot withstand all the heat and pressure present in the autoclave. So for them, physical sterilization method is used where filter paper discs, specially designed ones, are created and they are put onto a holder which after being closed creates a situation of vacuum, and then the fluid is passed through this mesh and the filtrate that is collected is contaminant free. For glasswares, we also use dry heat, that is a very high temperature beyond 150-160 degrees Celsius in a hot air oven. So this is an example of using dry heat. During work, we use laminar air hood where there are HEPA filters through which air continuously flows so that no contaminant settles down, and we also use ultraviolet as a source of sterilization. During work, we also depend on Bunsen burner where we have this flame over which all the objects which are being used intermittently during our working process, they are sterilized by employing high temperature. The concept of culture media, it began with several workers which use different media for culturing. So a medium is anything which can be used in a solid or a liquid manner, and it supports the growth of the microorganisms by providing nutrients as well as in the form of a physical support. So mainly an agar plate is used. There's a petri plate where the medium is spread and the microbes are allowed to grow within it or over it. So this medium actually mimics the natural environment. In media, we provide all the essential nutrients which are required by the microbes. If we talk about the history, it dates back to the first use of urine or meat broth that was used by Louis Pasteur. Next, Robert Koch, he used cut potatoes, which were obviously very nutritious, and he also used gelatin to prepare solid media. Although it was not very successful because gelatin is a protein, so microbes could use and eat that up, and additionally, it used to melt beyond 25 degrees Celsius. So, the proper first time use of agar is attributed to Hess, a couple who were working under Robert Koch as assistants. So they used agar for the first time and utilized its property of melting at 98 degrees Celsius and setting down again at 42 degrees Celsius. Based on the consistency, there are three types of media, and the use of media depends solely on the purpose for which the microbes are to be cultivated. The first type is liquid media, which is used when we need a large population of organisms. So it is basically used for propagation purposes. Semi-solid media, which is made by adding 0.5% agar to the medium, is generally meant for cultivation of microaerophilic bacteria so that they do not come in direct exposure of the air, and to determine the motility of the bacteria, whether they are motile or not, as well as the rate of motility. As it is visible in the figure, the left where the entire media has turned red is for the bacteria which are absolutely motile, because the way they are cultured is a semi-solid media is prepared and then with a sterile glass rod that is dipped in the bacterial culture, the rod is dipped straight down into the semi-solid media and left as such. So being motile, the left one, the culture has spread to the entire media. In the middle one, the culture being non-motile could not move out to the media, and in the extreme right, there is a colony, there is a population of bacteria which are slightly motile. Now for isolation of bacteria, we need colonies on the surface, and for that purpose, solid media is used where 1.5 to 2% agar is added as a gelling. Besides this, based on the utility and based on the kind of nutrients present, the media can be divided into several types. The most common used is the basal media, examples of which are nutrient broth, nutrient agar, peptone water. So this is a general kind of media where nutrients which are most commonly used by bacterial cells, those are present. So it is used for the growth of non-fastidious bacteria. Non-fastidious bacteria are those which can grow at a proper rate and they do not have very specific requirements for any particular nutrient. Another category is enriched media where extra nutrients are added, so it is very nutritious, and those materials include blood, yeast extract, serum, etc. So this is basically used for fastidious bacteria. Fastidious means the ones which are slow growers normally and they need extra nutrition, some specific nutrition which has to be added so that they can pace up. Examples of this include blood agar and Lowenstein-Jansen media. The third category is differential media, which is also known as indicator media. This is a kind of media which supports several bacterial species, but each bacteria grows into a colony which is phenotypically distinguishable. That means morphologically it will show certain specific characteristics such as different color or maybe different colony structure, so that one species can be differentiated from the other species. Example of this are blood agar and McConkey agar. Very similar to this but functionally different is the selective media, which allows growth of one particular kind of bacteria but suppresses the growth of all other species. Examples of this include McConkey agar. Also, crystal violet is added sometimes when we need to study gram negative bacteria because they are supported, but gram positive bacteria, they are comparatively inhibited. Sometimes antibiotics can be used where we need a particular resistant variety to be extracted as compared to susceptible varieties. Transport media is one where specimen cannot be cultured right after the collection, so this kind of media supports the growth. It provides the bare necessities for bacteria in the natural sample to thrive on it. Examples include Kerry Blair, Ames and Stewart medium. And the storage media is one where we can keep the bacteria for a longer duration of time so that to be used later on. Example of this include egg saline media. Here are some examples of the different types of media. The first plate is that of McConkey agar, where E. coli that ferments lactose can be seen to form bright pink colored colonies, and Serratia marcescens, which cannot ferment lactose, forms cream colored colonies. So these two different bacteria can be differentiated while being plated on the same media. So this forms an example of differential media. The next is Neisseria subflava colonies, which is a fastidious bacteria, so it needs some extra nutrients. This chocolate blood agar media is therefore a kind of enriched media. The next plate is that of nutrient agar, which is a basal media and can support a wide range of bacterial colonies. Last one is that of PEMBA, that is selectively used to provide Bacillus cereus nutrients. Therefore, this is an example of selective media. So, depending on the choice of the microbe, we can form different types of media to support their growth. So, it basically depends on our purpose, that what do we want to see, what kind of bacteria do we need to isolate, that we'll decide which type of media to be utilized.